India, home to just over 1 billion people. For over 30 years after independence in 1947, successive governments failed to make any impact on apparently endemic poverty rates. But over the last 25 years, India has cut absolute poverty by half. Still, 440 million people live on less than $1 a day. This LIFE program looks at 2 projects that are helping Indian communities move out of poverty, in line with the Millennium Development Goal of halving poverty by 2015. Bangalore, information technology capital of India. The huge growth of the service industry here has attracted an influx of clients from around the world. Multinational companies taking advantage of low wages, low running costs, and state-of-the-art technology. Bangalore is booming, but outside the city, in the rest of the state of Karnataka, it's a different story. 60% of the population in India still make their living from agriculture. Land ownership is key to increasing farm incomes and empowering local people. But for 200 years, the responsibility for maintaining land ownership records has been under the control of a powerful minority of village accountants who exercised an effective monopoly on all land transactions. Any farmer wanting to use his land as collateral for a loan to maintain or expand his business first needed proof from the village accountant. The state government supported Rajiv Chavla, a civil servant who recognized the need for land record reform. He set up a project to put all the local records onto a central computer, potentially freeing every farmer in the state from the clutches of corruption.
Many a times, whenever he required, he has to virtually bribe people. And in spite of getting bribe or giving bribe, there was no way he could ensure that he could get the land record when he wanted.
Support from the Karnataka state government was crucial to the project. It's taken 6 years to set up. But at the Central Records Office in the capital, some of the custodians who manage the paperwork can't get used to the idea that paper records are disappearing forever. Satya, Rajiv's deputy, is here to check the new system is working.
This is the old record. You know, this is the old record with so much of...
2 acres, 26 guntas, 3
yeah,
acres, guntas,
so much. I can't even read anything out of this. It is so terrible. Where is his
This
name?
custodian finds it hard to believe that the computer is now the only official record.
But they have to be kept, sir.
Why?
For any, in the later course, if any dispute arises between the parties, we have to refer this.
If you want a record of 99, you will not give this record.
No, madam.
It will only be a computer record.
But it's obviously taking some time before everyone believes in the new computerized records.
No. Actually, these revenue records are permanent records. They need not be destroyed. They have to be kept for years.
So how will computerization affect farmers? Are they equally skeptical? Ningama, a Karnataka farmer, goes to his local land registry office, or Bhumi as they've now become known. He hands his number in at one of the new computerized land registry booths. He pays 15 rupees and in return gets a receipt and his land record. It'll mean he can take out a loan for his business.
Bank Yake? Huh? He's giving it to the bank because he wants to take some loan. Loan he wants to buy buffaloes, so he has to give it to the bank. So that's the reason he wanted to take this copy.
Ensuring all the records remain accurate requires cast iron security. Entering changes in land ownership can only happen if your thumbprint fits. The system here uses the latest biosensor technology to validate each and every operator's identity, so no one else can alter any of the millions of records.
There was huge synergy at that point of time when I see back in computerizing 20 million records. For your information, every record has 50 fields. You see the land record, every record has 50 fields. So a total of 1 billion data fields were to be put on the machine and validated.
Further out in the countryside, there is a Bhumi scheme which is equally revolutionary. Farmer Patswami used to have a lot of trouble getting proof of ownership.
I used to get a lot of harassment from the village accountant whenever I went for a land title document. It took 3 to 4 days.
He puts down his plough and heads for his village. He's going to test out the new computerized system to see whether he really can get his land record for a mere 15 rupees. Down a side street is the Bhumi kiosk where the land records are available. In the office, Patswami hands over his plot number. In seconds, the Bhumi computer responds with a digital printout that's recognized as the land record for his plot. This village shop is linked via the internet to the main Bhumi database by a radio. Cutting-edge technology has saved Patswami time and money in running his plot in the heart of the countryside.
We are trying to revolutionize the internet connectivity in India by providing internet connectivity to the remotest locations in India. And government is utilizing our facility to provide Bhumi services to the villages from the information kiosk, Chirag internet kiosk, which we have developed.
10 million computerized records are now issued every year in Karnataka, so the system appears to be working. But does this mean every state in India can now eradicate land record corruption?
There is a successful project which is shown to the people and to citizens of this state that yes, it should be scalable to other states and why not to other countries, and it's a good model and it is delivering services, and I think this is a revolution in land records.
I started the process and motivated people to do this work and coordinated the whole work. But then I must admit that the work was done by a set of people. I only perhaps played a role where I told them how to do that.
Rajiv underplays his achievement. In fact, he doggedly implemented a scheme that succeeded in putting a stop to a widespread form of corruption. In turn, he's helped farmers work more efficiently and increase their income. But Karnataka's only one out of 29 states in India. The question is, does every Indian state need a Rajiv Chawla to introduce land record reform, or can his Bhumi model be successfully replicated everywhere? In the state of Andhra Pradesh in central India, a travelling group of nomadic people maintain their traditional way of life. Many rural communities in Andhra Pradesh survive on less than $1 a day, the official UN poverty line.
You must involve people that live in poverty. There is no way that I think on a top-down basis you can cover billions of people. What you need to do is to change your thinking and understand that by engaging the people who live in poverty, you are dealing first of all with the people that understand poverty the most, secondly have the greatest interest in getting out of poverty, and thirdly can take the responsibility to move forward themselves in solutions or in programs that are effective.
Nobody has more at stake in poverty reduction than poor people themselves. Investing in their skills and assets is fundamental to India's commitment to achieving the Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs, by 2015. Promoting gender equality and empowerment of women is MDG number 3. The ancient Gond tribe have lived in the forests of central India for centuries. In the past, they've had little formal education and have often been exploited. Mankubai was born 40 years ago in Jamgoan village. She's rarely been outside and until recently had little cause to. Married at 15, she works a daily non-stop grind of washing, cooking and picking. And then, all over again, next day with no days off. During harvest seasons, she earns about $1 a day. She picks cotton, red gram and soya. There's also income from milk, but the money she earns has to last between harvests. Her average daily wage is well below the $1 limit.
I get tired and bored. This is very hard work, constantly doing the same thing. When you run around, you start feeling pain in your hands and legs. If you work quickly, you can pick 40 kilos. If you work slowly, you can collect between 20 or 30 kilos of cotton. And I get 15 rupees for that. Any other work? I don't know. And doing this work, I save myself.
2 years ago, things became very difficult for Mankubai and motivated her to take action. Her son's teachers were finding him too hard to handle, and her husband drank. She's now able to help other people with similar problems.
There was a woman whose husband used to beat her every day after getting drunk. Every day. I advised her what to do. She said, my husband is bad, but he has to drink every day. Not eating, only crying, only beating me, even without me doing anything wrong. Anyone understands that you kill yourself all day doing your work and then you get beaten? I said, what we should do is hold him, and 2 or 3 women should beat him and tie him to a post. And we did it.
As well as the women taking direct action against abusive husbands, a law was passed in 1993 banning the sale of alcohol in village shops. While only temporary, it helped solve the drink problem in the short term. Also, the women in the district began to break with tradition.
I listen to people in the village. I want to improve myself. I sit down and think about it. There are so many people who say, do this, do that, giving different opinions about how to improve ourselves. I listen to everybody talking about how to move forward.
Mankubai, along with others, joined self-help groups, taking their future into their own hands rather than leaving it to their husbands. It wasn't always a welcome move.
When men criticize us, we feel it hard. We were annoying them a lot. They say, why do you go to meetings? What do you get from there? What work do you do there? We go to the field and bring food home. You eat at home. You do the household work.
It's a very simple concept. That is, a poor woman at a village level can't make a difference and change the system. But when many poor women come together and take action, they start not with education, health, or water. They start with a problem that's the priority problem in their lives. And this is often a social problem. It may be wife beating, it could be untouchability. And once they solve this problem collectively, then they address other problems.
The self-improvement goals Mankubai's group has set itself are fully supported by the state government. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu is emphatic that poor people have to be seen as partners in development if they are to move out of poverty.
They are all very poor, but knowledge-wise, commitment-wise, they are highly capable. Further and further, I want to build their capabilities. I want to empower them.
This is being said about tribal women who had rarely left their villages.
We were scared at the sight of officials because we never understood what to say to them. But they said, go on, encouraging us to join the women's group. And after that, I even went on to join at the federation level as well. If there is a problem, an official will run to the village. Now they're asking me. They never asked before.
After she joined, it became very nice for us. We had a lot of difficulties before with moneylenders and buying seeds. They were always putting us off. Come tomorrow, come tomorrow. So it's become better for us since she joined the federation.
Known as Velugu, this scheme of self-help groups aims to address the targets of the Millennium Development Goals.
Velugu project is a continuous process now, not even one-time project. I wanted to eradicate poverty. For that purpose, we have created a society. This money we are spending. Again, if necessary, government will give some more money. This money will rotate continuously till we achieve total eradication of poverty.
Through the Velugu system, there are two ways women can raise money without resorting to expensive and often unscrupulous moneylenders. Each member can save a rupee a day, and the state government matches the saving rupee for rupee. There are also infrastructure grants from the World Bank, which are paid to the villagers via the scheme. Holding regular meetings and supporting each other within the group are crucial to Velugu's success.
If they want to take up income generating activity, very interesting plan they will develop. All the 10, they will sit around. One woman said, I want a buffalo. And all the 20 women will question her. Why you want that buffalo? How much income you will get? How many people will work for that? And how you are going to sell the milk?
In the past, each of the farmers in Jamgoan used to sell their milk to the local dairy individually. But with no group solidarity, they didn't have any negotiating power, and the dairy dictated the prices they got. Now Mankubai has organized a village cooperative that sells all their milk collectively. By testing the quality themselves and negotiating as a group, they have more power to bargain over the price for their milk. Every day, samples are taken, mixed with alcohol, and centrifuged to test the fat content. The village organization bought the testing equipment with a loan from Velugu. Farmers nowadays are paid straight away. But today, the dairy has claimed the fat content, and so the price is lower than the farmers claim. So Mankubai decides to withdraw future production until the dispute is settled.
When we test it here, it seems okay. But when they test it, it seems wrong in the dairy. Why it is, I don't know. I will stop it from tomorrow.
The owners of the dairy know that Mankubai and her colleagues can call on a dozen other villages to do the same if there's any suspicion of the dairy trying to cheat on prices. So collective action, not only in Jamgoan itself, but between Jamgoan and neighbouring villages, has provided all the villages with stronger negotiating power. This, in turn, leads to higher income for farmers and a better deal for the rural communities. So, do the dairy ever say the milk is better quality than the villagers themselves say it is?
Oh no, they never say that.
Soya is another source of income for the villagers, and the self-help group is maximising profits here as well. They used to sell it individually, which meant selling at peak harvest time, and inevitably getting only the lowest price. But today, Mankubai's village organisation stores the beans until prices rise and they can reap the benefit. It's a plan originally suggested by Velugu.
Women are carefully listening, thinking. If they think that it is useful, they are taking up. If they think it is not at all useful, they are bluntly refusing. They are not hypocritic, they are very frank.
The Velugu scheme also offers advice on how to invest for the future, something nobody ever had time to think about before. The women here are being introduced to new ideas, like marketing, legal advice, getting married later, and going to school. All of these prompt them to question once widely held beliefs, entrenched in everyday life, and to combat the impact of traditions like caste and child labour, as Mankubai's daughter confirms.
Mom didn't send me to school. Now she's regretting it and talks about education. I didn't get any education. I just got married. Now we wouldn't do that.
It's 10 to 9, and teachers are rounding up pupils. The Millennium Development Goal of universal primary education attendance isn't quite the norm here yet. Velugu encourages attendance by subsidizing school meals. It's a big incentive to send your kids to school if you know they will have a cheap lunch. This scheme is one of many which has been funded by the government direct to the village. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu deliberately organized it this way to avoid the funds corruptly disappearing in local government bureaucracy.
What I'm saying always, state cannot do everything. That's why I'm saying less governance is good governance. Otherwise, everything will do by state, then automatically we'll have so many problems.
Before, they always took some money out of the funds, but after the formation of the groups, it's not happening.
It's becoming harder to get away with corruption elsewhere too. As a collective, the women now have more authority to force greater transparency. Leelabai, leader of another local self-help group, has come to collect Mankubai. They're off to confront local government officials. Until recently, these officials would never have met village women, especially tribal women like Mankubai, who were seen as little better than so-called untouchables. Mankubai hands in a petition. The women are demanding better continuity among the government officers they deal with. They say their government contact keeps changing and it's making their work harder. Mankubai has already proved her skills of persuasion when she negotiated a large increase in wages on behalf of all her fellow cotton workers. She certainly impressed the organizers of the Velugu scheme.
I think Mankubai is more than a charismatic leader. I think Mankubai's life has improved from what she was before. There is a movement of these confident women who are coming out of their heart and actually interacting as somewhat equals politically, socially, and now trying economically as well.
Mankubai prays to Persepen, the ancestors said to prevent starvation in the village. Fear of poverty is never far away. She still has debts of more than a year's income to pay off and still owes high-interest moneylenders. The difference for her, and for many of her neighbours, is that she is far better off than she was before she joined the self-help group. She now earns 20,000 rupee a year, whereas before she earned just over 10,000. She has bought 2 cows and is paying less interest on her loan than she was before.
For the country as a whole, I think we need a lot more Mankubais.
While most local people are enthusiastic about the Velugu scheme, there are still some doubters. The hereditary leader of Mankubai's village doesn't understand what the self-help group is trying to achieve. He would like ready access to cash for those in need.
If somebody is hungry or somebody dies, and if somebody asks the self-help group to lend us 5,000 rupees, the group people will not even give him 5 paisa or 1 rupee.
I think the aim of the project is to improve the quality of life of the poor people, and I think alleviation is a strong term. So I think if it succeeds in improving the quality of life, that's a very, very positive step.
There's quite a difference between then and now. When everybody told poor people off, I was always scared of other people. Now I feel confident. Then I was scared. Now I'm going to the banks and putting money in. I can even call the bank manager to our meetings.
There are now 22 self-help groups in Mankubai's village of Jamgoan in Andhra Pradesh, providing poor families with access to information, affordable loans, and critically, the confidence to help themselves move out of poverty.